Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight, it's actually morning. It's very early in the morning. This morning, I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. All right, Aquarius. So tonight, and I'm going to keep saying tonight because I usually film at night. So I apologize. Although, yes, it's morning and the vibe is different, right? It just is. My office feels different. It's beautiful outside. I planted flowers yesterday. I just went out on the porch and looked at them. It's just a different vibe. So we have the Ace of Wands, okay? This is that magical wand that is a flame. This is all about creativity. It's about that creative force in the universe that flows through all things, that animating quality. It is the thing that brings, desire. Really, I feel like the urge to consume. And I don't mean like food or anything else in the material, although it can be that as well. It can manifest in that way. But there's this feeling of expansiveness and continuing to expand. And if you can think of like a wildfire, right? It's like an idea, a passion. It gets ya, and it takes hold, and it starts to spread, and it depends on us as beings, right? What do we do with that? Are we gonna let it pull us into chaos and just totally spiral out, or are we going to make something of this? Are we going to do something with our desire and our want and our ability to create, to conceive of? I don't know. We're gonna see, right? All right, Aquarius, let's go ahead and spin this thing around our little bowl. All right. Okay, and we'll lift it up. Let's take a look here. All right, Aquarius, I want to go ahead and say thank you for deciding to click on this reading. It's always such a huge privilege for me. If you're new to the channel, welcome to Tea Leaf Reading. You might be somebody who's never seen one before. You've never even really heard about it. It is an ancient practice, actually. It's one of the first, or as far as historians might say, it's one of the first divination methods. Okay, and really scrying in general, but yes, tea leaf reading. It's not as popular as it used to be. You might notice that, but we're gonna bring it back. There's some of us, right? There's a few of us out here doing this thing. And so if you are returning to the channel, I also want to say thank you for coming back. Welcome home. It's nice to see you. Let's get into this thing. Now, I'm feeling like we have this almost like fairy tale-like love. And I don't know that this is something that is like a current situation so much as it feels like something that probably went on when you were younger. I just get the feeling of, it's weird whenever I think of like kind of those first pangs of a first love, a naive love, a love where you have not been destroyed yet, right? The world hasn't yet got its hooks into you. And there's this like feeling of infinite possibility within this connection, this belovedness, the excitement, all of this. Now, I see this right here. We have two people. We have one right here. Here you can see the head and the body. And then you see the head and the body here. Both raising their hands together, holding on to a cup. Okay, so this is a deep emotional connection. It is one that, well, I believe that it is one that it didn't seem very traumatic or up and down. Like, you know, some of us had some pretty wild first relationships, right? Like, you know, and it really, a lot of that depends on like the life you come out of as a child, right? What kind of role models did you have? What was your household like? You know, what are your examples of healthy relationships and so on? I feel like you probably had and have, and I will say you still have, a good head on your shoulders. Now, was it perfect? No, but also so often these first loves, it's not the thing that you hold on to forever. I mean, we might in our memory, our emotions, but very rarely does anybody marry their fifth grade sweetheart. Now, it does happen still, of course, but I believe that obviously this is something that it came and passed, and I think it set you up for yes, being somebody who is open to involved relationships. Okay. Now, beyond this, we have the king. Okay, you can see here's the crown, the eyes, the nose, the mouth open, wide open. Now, this is a motif that you see in old alchemical engravings. And what this kind of represents is the old king, the old god, Saturn, Uranus, and at times. This is the devouring god. We've heard about like the devouring mother, probably, if you know anything about psychology or psychotherapy. This is the idea that, well, it's all about emotional manipulation, but within the masculine, that for the mother, right? Manipulation, narcissism, vacillating between emotional, over emotional involvement, and then kind of being emotionally unavailable, cutting people off, not talking to them, the kind of classic narcissist type behavior. And so how this manifests more in the masculine, at least, within the study of psychology, right? How does this manifest in a practical way? Not always perfectly or the same as they describe, but this is somebody who maybe feels like they have ownership of their children. This whole, nobody's ever going to, have my daughter, or, the I give you a lot materially, but I'm not here, I'm always gone, or when I am here, don't talk to me, leave me alone, be quiet, this kind of thing. So I feel like there is a sense of seeing that there can be this sweetness in life, this kind of two people holding up the relationship, the friendship within the relationship. But then there's this almost kind of looming darkness of this very, I don't know if this is maybe a partner that you had, maybe even a spouse. It doesn't matter if they are a man or a woman or some other configuration that they identify with. But I feel like within them there is very much this archetype of the kind of terror of the old angry father man, right? And I wish I could just bring up the pictures. We don't edit our things into our videos, but if you do go and look up kind of this, there are also paintings of Saturn devouring his children, as we know in the mythology. Obviously one of the most famous, we have the Goa or Goya, however you like to say, this old painting. I believe, and maybe I'm wrong, but Goya actually, his black period is what they call it. He painted his paintings as frescoes, and a fresco is actually a painting that is done right onto a wall, instead of on a canvas or some kind of material that's then, affixed to the wall. And he did them in a barn, I believe. And if you know who this is, you'll think, oh my gosh, I never knew that. I didn't even know that. But so they had these paintings, and so he has the painting of Saturn. And I have to believe the first time you would walk into a room and there's the witch's Sabbath and all these very grotesque and dark paintings, like in this barn. I'm guessing the lighting wasn't very good in there either. And you walk in and the terror, right? What a scary place to walk. I mean, I would relish in it myself, but there is this feeling, especially in his paintings. I want you to go and look at them if you have the time. Go look up his picture of Saturn. So this is the energy we have right here. And I believe that, this relationship, and maybe it is the first really important one, the really involved adult relationship where, you start to have to think about practical things together. Right? Paying bills, having kids, making sure that, you're both bringing in money I shouldn't just say that. It's not just about bringing in money. It's about everybody playing their role, right? And making sure that that's decided upon together. Not the only, and I should know this and I should not promote the idea that everybody has to be bringing in money. Although, of course, it makes things easier. I'm mostly a stay-at-home mom, right? Or a housewife or I don't know, whatever. I run a lot of stuff around here. We also have a business, so technically I'm not. But I was for a while, a few years there. And the labor that goes into taking care of a family is a lot. Okay. I'm not just saying that for myself. I'm secure in that. I talk to a lot of moms. I'm involved in a lot of mom stuff, and it is a common not concern, but I think something that a lot of not even just women, people who stay home and take care of the house and the kids and run the family, it's a lot. But it doesn't always feel like, it's a real job. Or people have things to say where they think, you're on vacation. If you are somebody who is involved in your family, it's not any kind of vacation. So anyways, I know I'm going on my little rant. My coffee's starting to kick in. But here's the deal. I don't think you're still in this relationship, but I do feel like it's like a looming darkness that happened. It was like a period of time, even like a decade maybe. I feel like you think of this as the dark ages because you were in this place with this person who just absolutely was like a black hole. Everything negative unless it was something that benefited them. Right? Then they would talk it up. Then it was the best thing ever. But it was quickly shifting. And you had to be on your toes all the time. And, I think that finally, once you get away from this, at whatever point that was, you look back and you think, I was living in somebody else's life. Like I was trapped in somebody else's vision of the world. This kind of thing reminds me of if you ever watched, I think it was the Twilight Zone movie, where these people, they end up at this house. They're like got a flat tire or something. They go up there to get help. And there's this kid. He's a kind of strange kid. And his parents, or whoever the people are, they assume are the parents. They seem very sketchy and scared. Like, don't come in here, you know. But then they do come in. And it starts to play out basically that this kid has this, you know, psychic ability to control everything around him, including the people, and traps them in there with him like they're playthings. And this is that feeling, like that sinking, like I am, you know, I'm basically a hostage in this other person's life. And you try to make the best of it. You try to, you know, whatever, you know, the thought process is when you're in a relationship like that, when you come around to realizing like this, how terrible things have gotten, and you get out of it finally, you walk away and you start to feel the oppressiveness of it all. And you realize, my gosh, I have been living in their life. Like I wasn't even concerned about my dreams. I was just, you know, trying to get through the days, making sure this person was at least content so they weren't freaking out. So I feel like that really left a mark on your psyche, because I do feel like it was over the span of some years. Now, I wanted to turn this in. I want to look at this devil face that we have. The eyes, the nose, the mouth, the ears. Now, we might think of the devil or the devil archetype or the devil card as this like scary negative thing. Like, oh my gosh, this thing's coming in. It's going to cause chaos in my life. There is like this trickstery energy, this kind of predatory energy. And that might be the case. Sometimes, right? The devil is a very tricky, charming energy, for sure. It is also the spirit of rebellion. It is the spirit of, I'm not going to take this anymore. It is the thing that gets planted in our heart. And I know, it's not an easy thing to hear said, right? I'm not saying the devil is planted in your heart, not even the seed of the devil, nothing like that. But it is that spirit, that quality of, you're not going to tell me anything anymore. That spirit of, I don't know why I'm doing this anymore. It does not serve me well. It makes me miserable, and I want something else. You know, it's like when you wake up in a relationship, as we've been talking about, and you think, this is it, I'm done. Maybe it's a job. We've all had jobs where it's like, I'm making enough money that I feel, you know, maybe not satisfied, but, you know, I'm making enough money that like, okay, I'm going to show up. Here I am. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to be here. I'm going to do the best I can at this job. But my goodness, you know, I just make a little bit too much to walk away from it. And finally, you know, at some point, you hit that wall and you think, this is it. I can't do this. Can you imagine 30 more years of this? No. Of being around these people in this place, 8 hours a day or however long you're working, likely inside, not ever getting any fresh air or sun or anything like that. No more. I'm done. That's this feeling. Now, after you say, I quit, oof, yeah, you might be a little scared. Hopefully you have something lined up. Don't quit unless you have something lined up. That's the mom in me, okay? You might have this feeling, but make sure that you're tempering it a little bit. You don't want to go full rebellion, okay? This is not a punk pop song from like the early thousands. We don't need to, just completely go wild here. But what we do need to take from this is that You are the master of your own life. You are the master of your own life, the captain of your own destiny. I heard Papa Wu say that one time. The captain of your own destiny. I think Malcolm X said it first, I believe. No. I think it was Papa Wu that said that, and then he quotes Malcolm X. And I can't say, he says something like, a man that doesn't have something to stand up for will fall for anything. Right? If you don't have any kind of belief, is what he's saying. But yeah, that's on the, if you want to hear the song, if you want to hear Papa Wu say it, it's at the beginning of Man-Child. Yeah, the song Man-Child by Shaheem. Anyways, this is, I feel like it's like you are in the spirit of taking up for self right here. You've had some relationships, good, bad. I feel like you have a pretty level head about your connection with people, but I also feel like you're just at a stage in your life where you're not putting up with anything from anybody at all. And you're willing to just be alone or, you know, do the thing, take less money for a situation, a job that you can deal with, right? You'd rather be like somewhat happy, content, than put yourself in a terrible situation just to have something in your pocket or to be with somebody. And that's the big takeaway I'm seeing here. Now, the other part of this, I do feel like we have somebody in your family that I almost feel like they're starting a family, like they're maybe getting married. There might be a child on the way. We have the number 38 right here, right on their heads. We have a person here, a person here. We have a heart above this one's head. We also have a bird that's kind of pulling up over here, about to land and leave a message. So I do feel like I almost feel like these family members, and maybe it's one of your children. And we have the wolf up here. So I feel like this is somebody who is very kind of like solitary. Like this is your kid that will not call you for like 3 months. And you're not worried because you know they've been online and stuff, and they're not mad. They're just they get caught up in life, right? They're just somebody who wanders a bit and does their thing. Well, they come back and all of a sudden they're married, right? And they have a kid on the way, and I think for you it's almost kind of like, I feel like for you, there are pangs of why am I not involved? And I don't necessarily, let me just say, it doesn't have to be that this is your kid. Maybe this is like a friend or somebody in your life, and whatever big situation is going on for them, it's like they left and got married and didn't tell you. Like everybody else kind of knows, but you missed the Facebook post and you don't know exactly what's going on. Nobody told me. Nobody tells me everything. That's what I always say. Whenever anybody asks me anything about the family, like beyond my own little family unit, I don't know unless you tell me. And it's not because I'm like, not trying to like message and say, hi, how you doing? Just nobody really tells me a lot about life anymore. And maybe that's because I'm busy. Maybe we just, we have a lot going on. But I don't know. Nobody tells me anything. By the time I find out, it's like 6 months after it happened. I'm on the outs, buddy. But I feel like, you're kind of in a similar situation where maybe nobody like really goes out of their way to tell you. And especially this person is just like, they don't tell anybody. They probably don't even have social media. They don't post about stuff. They don't text in the group chat or whatever. They're just out there doing what they do. And I feel like for you, this is a huge blessing to have new life in the family, of course. I feel like you have to kind of temper self again here, because you don't want to make it about you, but you're also maybe a little bit hurt. And I think it's important that, you know, you choose the timing with a lot of thought, because you don't want to be that bummer that's like you make something about you. Like, we don't need any brat energy here. I have to remind myself of that every day too. But I do feel like, you know, ultimately this is such a great thing. And it really depends so much on our reaction when we're let down about things. You know, we suck it up. Especially if you're like mom or dad. You know, you've raised these kids. You know what it is. They don't think about telling us first all the time. When they do, and when they, you know, I always pray. I pray so hard and, you know, remind myself of my parenting. When I see other kids that are excited to tell their parents about stuff, or like their first call is like, I have to call mom and dad and let them know. And, you know, I hope to God, Goddess, the universe, the divine, all of the freaking things, top to bottom, please, in my favor, let us have a good relationship with our daughter as she gets older. You know, but they're going to do things the way that they do them. And we have to learn to kind of just accept that, you know, and not rain on their parade if they don't do it the way that we want them to, like, you know, so I feel like this is just a moment where we stop and we think, okay, this is going to be a long-term, like, core memory. You know, so let's make sure that we approach this with a lot of tact and intention. All right, so we also have, and I've been looking at this person over here, we have a crab. It could be that this is a Cancer person. I'm sorry, I am getting super congested as I'm speaking. It's probably allergies, I'm realizing. But we have the Cancer person up here. They have a key. And they're smiling. And a giraffe. Okay. So, and the Cancer or the crab person is riding on the giraffe. And I feel like you're the giraffe. I feel like you are in a position where maybe you have some resources, and I don't mean money. It could be like connections or ideas or skill set where you can help this person out. And I believe that you both have a relationship where they have called on you, you've called on them, right? And so this isn't like oh gosh, they're asking for something else. No, I believe that this is a situation where you're very happy to help. And I feel like when you get together, it's like you all of a sudden are having all this like innovative thinking and creativity. You're excited about stuff. Let's try this. Let's do that. And as somebody who is married to a Cancer, I'm married to a wonderful man over at Dove and Serpent Tarot. His name is Paul. Again, that is Dove, as in the bird, and Serpent Tarot. His name is Paul. Go check him out if you haven't seen his tarot readings. But working with a Cancer person is amazing. Now, do you have to lead them a little bit sometimes? Make them think that everything is their idea? Yes! They like to be the ones that, you know, kind of come up with everything. But that's okay. Aquarius, you're much like myself. And also, I'm an Aquarius moon. So we are kin. But I being a Virgo, yeah, we're good at, you know, we'll do the work, and I don't care if somebody else kind of, gets a little glory from it. Of course, that's fine. But what really matters is that when you put your heads together, when you get moving, things really come through. So I see this being a place where you are fully in balance with your creative flow. And that's really the big feeling that we're going to walk away from this reading with, is that you are flourishing in so many different ways. I just see like flowers blooming around your head right now. Okay, it's a beautiful time. All right, let's see. 3 lucky numbers. We have 55, number 55, number 6, number 6, number 89, number 89. All right. And then we're going to end with our Indigo Sage affirmation cards. And I'm just going to flip through. Stop where it feels right. Look at that. All right. So we have number 21, Miracle Self-Healer. Trust that every unwanted condition can be returned to natural well-being. To natural well-being. All right. Well, Aquarius, I want to tell you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Thank you for being here with me. It is always such a pleasure and such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. I hope that you're having a beautiful end of spring / fall if you are in the southern hemisphere. I would love to hear about all the things you're getting up to. I'm in the garden. It's time to plant. We're in the 70s now. Ooh-wee. Just a few weeks ago, it was snowing here. So for me, I am going nuts. I love it. Yesterday I went to garage sales. I went to the nursery. I got some flowers. I got a couple of herbs that I've never had. I planted some orange mint and strawberry mint. When I tell you it smells good on my front porch, I am not lying. Also, my husband and daughter, my daughter started a fairy garden yesterday, and my husband, he planted his chamomile. Paul is so funny. I know a lot of you know him through watching his videos and stuff. And I'm just going to share just a little bit about his gardening experience. So when I met him, he had told me, I've never grown anything. I am not good at growing things. Well, I am not like a super gardener, but I grew up around gardening. My grandfather gardened a lot, and my father was a little bit into gardening, and both of my families, very self-sufficient people. And so when I got older, around 30, I guess, I started getting into doing some of my own gardening, And so now every year, if you're a gardener, if you're somebody who likes to grow flowers or food or herbs or, whatever it is, that it's like, what is the way? It's not even like a hobby. It's like a relationship, right? It's a belovedness. And it grows every year. And you have plants that they're your favorites. You form relationships with the animals in your yard and the insects. And it's a lifestyle, right? And so my husband, he's like, I'm not good at any of this. I've never done any, whatever. So I said, all right, let's get you going. Let's try. Let's see what's in there. Let's see what you can do. Because I don't believe this. I am 100%. I don't believe he's a Cancer. He's so in tune with himself and the universe. Come on. You can grow something. Well, needless to say, this dude, here now, almost, I guess almost 10 years later, right? I mean, it's coming up on that pretty quick here. Is a astounding like green thumb. His big thing is planting chamomile. Now, I usually take care of it and I'll harvest it and stuff, but not completely. He does some of it when he has time, but the planting and the watering and that kind of thing, all him. And he gets beautiful crops. I'm going to post pictures of them. And so the moral of the story is that I don't believe anybody is like adverse. I mean, has like a natural, energy that kind of propels growing things. You just gotta get out there and try some stuff, So anyways, I'm interested in anybody who's working in gardens. Are you growing stuff? What are you doing? What kind of projects in general? It doesn't have to be gardening, but I'm here for it. If you want to share, put it in the comments. I love you. Please take care of yourself. We'll talk in a few days. I love you. I love you. Good night. Morning. Good morning.